Hey, welcome back to the Shade Tree. Last go around we got the S10 donor stripped down, got the chassis rolled into the shop, actually got the body lowered down onto it somewhat where it needs to be. We do have to do some trimming here and there. These large pieces here have to come out. Got to cut them off so we can drop the front of this down, just to see how exactly it's going to fit. You can see these two mounts here almost line up. Pretty close. We got the front end mocked up, but unfortunately, as you can see, we're quite a bit away from where we need to be. Kind of looks like we're going to be shortening a frame. I've got it mostly stripped down. You guys didn't really think I was going to keep that 4-cylinder in here, did you? We're going to give her the old small block Chevy treatment. Figure out what we have to do to get this thing in here. This frame is almost exactly like the 46. You can buy the S10 V8 swap motor mounts that'll fit right there. Once we get the chassis cut down, that'll bring that back almost where it needs to be. The only thing different about this frame than the one that was under the 46 is this one looks to be boxed in. 46 was not. That was a 90, if I remember correctly, that was a 92 S10 frame. Yeah, this one's a 99. But it certainly looks like we need to do a chassis reduction. So needless to say, we have a long road ahead of us before this thing's gonna roll down the road. So let's get to it, man. Okay, we got her all broke down again for like the 5th time. We're gonna roll the chassis out of here, take the gas tank out, take these braces off, remove the brake line, and then we'll be ready to roll it back in here and make our frame reduction. Okay, so I got it marked where we're going to cut the front of this off. Right in back of the steering box. Probably right here, actually. Right in that groove. We're going to make our cut here where the frame was already put together. Let me get to getting all this stuff off here. Brake line's got to come off. These braces got to come off. Gas tank's got to come out. Do the same thing we did before with the other chassis. Throw some quick undercoating on it, maybe some paint, I don't know, and then roll it back in and start to figure in how we're going to cut this thing. Probably going to have to mock it up one last time just to make sure we're cutting the right amount off. So we'll get the chassis back in here and we'll mock the whole thing back up and see exactly what we're working with once this thing sits fully down on the chassis. I guess we'll know a little bit better where it's got to be cut and what adjustments need to be made in order for this body to go on that chassis. Okay. Guess that ain't gonna work, is it? That's a brand new saw. Is it just me, or does it seem like everything we buy nowadays is junk? Just bought that saw like 2-3 weeks ago. Hopefully someday somebody will do something about it. All right, we got those braces cut off. I started throwing some undercoating on in the areas that we're not going to be cutting. What I want to do now is get this chassis back in underneath the body, get the body set back down on it, and mock up the front end again. Figure out exactly where we need to cut this chassis and make this thing work. Okay, got the chassis rolled back in, got the back set down. Let's get this front set down and see exactly where this thing's gonna land on this chassis. All right, she is fully down on the chassis. She's got quite a rake to her. I think that seems to be holding everything up there. I think we might have to take that out. I don't know. The front definitely has to come up. You can see where these almost lined up with the rails. That one over there, this one here. That transmission cross member has to come out. It's kind of looking by this tire here, we've got to go forward a little bit more. Well, it's kind of hard to tell, but look at the other side. Okay, so with this tire here, you can actually see we do need to go forward some. So that will help us out when we mock the front end up. I don't think it's going to be too bad getting this thing mounted on this chassis. We'll have to move some of these mounts here, but we'll make it work. Okay, I got it pushed over, or I think it looks right. Pretty close. Still hung up on that cross member. That's gonna have to come out of there, and you could, once we get that out of there, she'll drop down a good 2 or 3 inches. But all in all, it don't look bad. What I want to do next is get the front end knocked up again, and then we can tell exactly, now that it's sitting down on the chassis and where it's supposed to be, we can tell just how much it's got to be cut off this thing. This is where I want to mount the core support. Okay, so after a lot of finagling, cussing and swearing, I finally got this thing mocked up to where I think, I gotta tell you something. You guys look at these fenders. Just look at this fender. It looks like it's been in a demolition derby. I don't know what I was thinking about. I can fix this thing, man. I don't know. They are just destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. I mean, anyway, back to what I was saying. I want to mount the core support here approximately where this white line is. That's going to give us approximately a 4.5 inch, I think I'm going to go 5-inch chop. That's pretty close to 5 there. It's really hard to get this thing, you know, somewhat centered up and everything, but it's in such bad shape. I don't know what I was thinking about. I don't know what I was thinking about, man. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead with a 5-inch chop. We're not gonna take the cross members out till after we cut it, so don't go wonky on us. But she looks pretty good. The back is gonna drop down probably another 2 or 3 inches once we get that cross member out. The front is pretty much on the frame now. We're gonna blow this thing apart again for the last time, hopefully, until we actually put it on the chassis. But anyway, we're gonna get the body back up off of it. We're gonna mark this chassis out where it needs to be cut. We're gonna cut it, we're gonna put it back together, and after that I think we'll really be moving on this thing. There's just an absolute ton of metal work to do. I am not a metal guy, but I can tell you what, I don't even think skilled metal guys would touch this thing, but we're gonna do it. I think it's gonna be it for today. We'll get back at it again tomorrow. We'll get this frame marked up and chopped down. All right, so we're back out here today again with the old 55 wagon. I got the frame marked out with our 5-inch cut. As you can see, what we're going to do here, we cut the outside of the frame right off here. The inside of the frame where it sleeves, we're going to cut here and here, or actually cut it this block out, so it can sleeve together. The outer part of the frame will just sleeve right over. We'll get a nice weld on that and all the way across and on the bottom. Here you can see where the frame humps out, so we had to come past that to get into the straight part of the frame. I've already started leveling up the frame. I'm just going to let some air out of the rear tires on this. Both sides are the same. Cut a piece of square tubing, and we'll weld a piece of square tubing on this side of the cut, and again on this side of the cut, on both sides. So it won't go anywhere once it's cut in half and the pieces are taken out. And all we have to do is just roll it, theoretically all we have to do is just roll it together and level it, tack it, and if it looks good, full weld it. I did get the motor mounts in the mail. These are the brackets I was talking about. So you can see there's quite a bit of adjustment there in those. That'll give us a little bit of adjustment on getting that V8 in here. So I know this is not an ideal setup, but this is what we got, fellas. This garage floor is by no means a level surface. I think with the help of a jack, we'll get it where it needs to be. And let's go ahead and get this thing cut, man. We got it all braced up, leveled up to the best of my ability. And nothing left to do but cut. Alright, we pretty much got them cut down. As you can see, we're just going to sleeve this back together. I have these heavy duty plates of metal laying around. I got 2 of them, so I'm going to use these as gusset plates on the inside. I'm going to drill holes and weld nuts on the back of this plate. Just for added strength, we'll put a gusset plate on the inside of that, screw it together, weld it up, and we'll be good to go, man. Right, we got our gusset plates made. I'm going to put this on the inside of the frame and bolt it together. It'll give it added strength. Probably going to put one on the back side too, just because. Okay, we have got our gusset plates in. Got a nice little gap to fill in with weld on both sides. I'm also going to put a gusset plate on the back side as well, so that'll stiffen it up real good. Last check we got to do is for squareness. So I'm going to pull off that shock tower in the back, the bolt sticking up. We got about 1/18 and 5/8 maybe. And we've got about 1/18 and 5/8. I mean, it looks like maybe about 1/16 of an inch difference, but I'm good with that. We'll go ahead and get that welded in first. Then I'm going to put another gusset plate over the top of that, just to give it that extra strength. So we'll get it welded up, we'll get it gusseted, and she'll be good to go. All right, we got both sides burned in, ground down. Didn't turn out too bad. We got our 5-inch frame reduction. We'll go ahead and clean up these welds a little bit more. Throw some primer on it so she doesn't start to rust again, and pretty much call it a day for today. Tomorrow we'll get a gusset plate on the inside of the frame, and I think she'll be pretty strong. So we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Okay. To finish off the day yesterday, we got our frame cut down 5 inches, and if it wasn't for the gusset plate, you wouldn't even know where we cut it. Hit it with a quick coat of undercoating. Cross member's coming out here. That cross member's coming out there. And here, take the cutting wheel. We're going to take the cutting wheel and cut this off in the front here. We're going to mount the core support right here. So we're going to cut it off right here in the front. I want to remount the body, mock up the front end, so we can see just how well we did with our 5-inch reduction. All right, so we got the 2 cross members cut out. Let's roll her back inside and see what we got. See how good we were at math. I've been wrestling with this body for a little bit now. I think I got it pretty close. I still think we have to come forward maybe another 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch, maybe something like that. The front, you see where the mounts were here, they're falling right down the frame rails. This one here, if it was still there, would be perfect. I think we have to cut these off, these things right here off, because they're hitting the side. So we'll cut those off and mount these, fix that obviously, and mount that to the frame there. Our body mounts were close, but they're off a little bit. We'll just cut this off and move it. That'll actually raise this up a little bit, I'm thinking. It sits pretty high in the back already. She kind of still will have that Willy stance, it looks like. I don't know. Same thing on this side. We'll have to cut that mount off and move it over and mount it there. The back lines up pretty good once we put the bumper on. I mean, almost lines up where it's supposed to be. Up here, you can see where the body mounts were before. We're going to have to fabricate something. I'm thinking maybe just build off of what's already here and just raise it up. You can see how far up inside the frame this goes, and that one there sits right on top of the frame. It's got a pretty good rake on it now, but once we get those body mounts where they need to be, I think it'll level it out. So right now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mock the front end on this to see exactly how well we did on our chop. Okay guys, there she is. Got her mocked up. I had to stick some square tubing where that body mount mounts, or is going to mount, because it's just set way too low in the front to make these fenders line. It still is a little low, as you can see. Once I get this up a little higher, it'll close that gap. But she's mocked up. Looks pretty good. We got a front valance that goes on here, so this isn't going to be too much of an issue. Still needed a little bit to mount our bumper on, so I think it turned out pretty good. Same deal on this side. I got a piece of square tubing in there, but it still needs to come up a little bit more to close that gap up. We got it centered pretty well over the rear tires. It does sit up a little bit higher than I'd like it to, but we could probably tweak that. I think it's hung up right there where that mount is. We're going to cut those mounts off anyway and drop them down a little bit, so it'll drop down just a little bit more yet. All in all, don't look too bad. I think we got a long road ahead with some metal work here. I mean, big time. We got our small block, getting ready to build on that. We need a set of heads for it, so I got to go look for a set of heads. I got a 350 transmission. We got to get a torque converter for that. I think next week the goal should be to get the engine and transmission mocked up in here to make sure we're going to have enough room for everything. It is looking to me like it might be a little bit tight. I did buy one of those small aluminum radiators that comes with a electric fan. Hopefully it'll be big enough to cool that V8 down. I think it'll be all right. I mean, this isn't going to be like a hot rod. It's just going to be a cool cruiser, right? She actually looks pretty good. I think I dig it. And I kind of like it sitting up a little bit higher too. It's a Willys, it has to sit up a little bit high, right? Would have been cool to drop this thing on the ground, but it's just not the vibe. But just not the vibe of this vehicle, you know. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be a cool little cruiser. So I guess that's going to do it for this week. We got our chassis successfully cut down. We got the body mounted on the chassis. Well, it's not mounted, you know what I mean. It's mocked up on the chassis. Looks pretty good so far. Haven't run into any major issues yet, but you know, we still got a ways to go with it. So next week we'll be mocking up the engine and transmission to make sure we don't have to make a bigger tunnel in there or whatever. Maybe work on getting some of these body mounts welded in so we can finally start maybe doing some body work on this old piece of junk. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. If you know somebody that's interested in a Frankenstein Jeep project, share the video with them. And until next time, man, take it easy.